To be honest, I was always against the idea of streaming, and perhaps that's the part in me that's resistant to change. But very recently, for the benefit of you guys, I thought I should really look into it and just discover if it's actually a good option for you or not. And straight up, man, streaming is actually pretty cool and it does have a lot of advantages. However, before you go all in, there are some pros and cons that you should be aware of, and it's going to really come down to your goals as a DJ and whether or not you're using your computer to load your music onto your equipment. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about the main streaming sites and the advantages and disadvantages of streaming. And I'm also going to share my personal experiences and thoughts. And hopefully from that, you can then make an informed decision on whether or not streaming is a good choice for you or not. The streaming sites that work with pretty much all DJ software are Tidal, SoundCloud, Beatport Link, and Beatsource. Now, this means if you create an account with any of these services, you can then log into that account in your DJ software. And then within your DJ software, you can actually browse tracks by genre, artists, playlists. And in some cases, you can even see on your DJ software what's trending, all the big charts, even pre-curated playlists from industry professionals. Now, the service even have their own websites where you can dive even deeper and research more extensively. And you can even on their sites create your own playlists, and those playlists then automatically sync with your DJ software. Now in the DJ software videos to come in the advanced performance pack, we've got this advanced organization course, right? I'm going to show you how to set it up so you can access these streaming sites in your DJ software. That's pretty easy, right? But for now, let's talk about which is the right streaming platform for you, if any at all. Many of you are familiar with SoundCloud, and the advantages of streaming tracks from SoundCloud is, as well as accessing all the big producers' tracks, SoundCloud does have a lot of unknown artists, and that allows you to be really original with the tracks that you find and the tracks that you play, and tracks that you might not have otherwise had access to, like tracks that might not have made Beatport in the big sites. Now, to access SoundCloud streaming, you'll have to sign up and get a SoundCloud Go Plus account, which is under $10 US a month, or you can pay roughly $20 US a month and get offline access to the tracks, meaning you don't have to be connected to the internet for playback, which is actually pretty cool. Beatport Link is the heavyweight, if you ask me, and it allows you to play back any of the tracks in the Beatport library and add them to playlists in your DJ software. Now, to be honest, this is awesome as it makes researching music so much fun and way easier. So for instance, right, let's say you're just starting out. You could go to Beatport, you could sign up for a free 30-day trial for Beatport Link, and that's honestly perfect, as my initial course is also meant to be 30 days, even though it's yours for life, but still that 30-day course. And anyway, as soon as you sign up to Beatport Link, you can access all the Beatport tracks in your library. And let's say you resonate with a particular genre, you can then select the top 100 tracks in that genre, right click, and then on all of them, select Import to Collection. And by importing them, it allows you to scan the waveforms just the one time, then it's there forever. And that's going to help your track to load a little bit quicker. And if you like a certain track, you can then drag it into your own playlist. And honestly, my advice would be select a genre, find 20 tracks, put them into a playlist, and then call that playlist First Mix. This means for 30 days, you can access all of Beatport for free. But the only caveat is, like any streaming services, you're just going to need an internet connection. Now, after the 30-day trial period, okay, to access the Beatport library, have Beatport Link, it's $15 US per month. And if you're concerned about needing an internet connection, if you pay $30 US a month, Beatport will give you an offline locker, meaning you can put up to 1,000 tracks from the Beatport library into your DJ software's offline locker, which means you can access up to 1,000 tracks without an internet connection. Now, I'll be honest, man, 1,000 tracks is heaps. And I remember when I was playing 5-hour sets each weekend, I wouldn't need more than 300 tracks for that. But to have 1,000 to choose from, that's plenty. And if you need more, or you're taking requests, you may even be able to hotspot an internet connection to your phone. And honestly, it just opens up your whole music library to infinite possibilities. Now, the offline locker really sparked my interest, but my next question when researching this was, can I get the tracks from my offline locker onto a USB stick to play on a club system? And the answer is no. At the moment, the only way to use USBs on club equipment is to have the physical tracks, like you've bought them, okay? And that means you've got them, you've downloaded those tracks and you've put them on a USB. And if you could download tracks from the offline locker, then what's to stop people from downloading 1,000 tracks onto their computer, then keeping them forever, and then canceling their subscription without paying a cent? So in this sense, right, it's like Apple Music and Spotify. You can download the track to play offline, but good luck getting the file off the platform, which means the only way to use the offline locker is with your computer, with your DJ software, which means if you want to play in clubs and access your streaming services, you're gonna have to connect your computer to the club gear, which honestly, this isn't ideal or nowhere near as sexy as turning up with nothing more than a USB stick and a pair of headphones, which honestly really helps to make the changeover super smooth as opposed to connecting your computer. Now, that being said, streaming services are still a fantastic way to research and find music, but when you find tracks you love, I'd be doing my best to also get physical downloaded copies, and I'd be aiming to build my music library simultaneously, okay? So put it this way, right? I don't think the big club DJs are streaming music onto the decks. They're all using USBs, which means they own the files. They've got the actual music. It's a lot more solid that way. Now, one little nugget though, answering a potential question you may have, you can add tracks that you have streamed to playlists. You can also add cue points, and once added to your collection, the track's gonna be there, analyzed with your saved cues, ready to go, even once you log in and log back out, okay? So that is super cool. Now, the only reason the tracks will not appear is if you cancel your subscription or for some reason the track's removed from the platform. But again, remember, unless it's in the offline locker, you're not gonna be able to play it without an internet connection either. Beatsource is a collaboration between the guys at Beatport and DJ City, and no doubt is more catered towards the open format DJ than Beatport is, but it works in pretty much the same way technically. So if you're an open format DJ and let's say you're playing different styles of events regularly, one of the real benefits of Beatsource is the curated playlists and the essentials. So for instance, let's say you're usually a techno DJ, but a mate's asked you to play at his wedding where there could be a whole arrangement of different age groups and people into all different genres. Now, you could go to Beatsource, okay, find curated playlists, especially for the types of events that you're playing, and each playlist is full of tried and tested floor fillers. Now, the playlists are created by seasoned pros and can be a great way for you to get access to the biggest tracks of specific genres and killer suggestions that you may have otherwise long forgotten about or not even thought of. And honestly, this opens up a world of ideas when it comes to playing tracks that you know are gonna go down really well and people are gonna respond well, big dance floors, all that. It's almost like going to a gig with some of the best DJs in the world and them giving you suggestions on tracks that they know from experience are going to get a good response. It's good. Anyway, let's imagine though this scenario just quickly, okay? So you're at a house party, okay? And you and your closest mates all love tech house, yet the girls are finding the latest tech house Beatport chart just a little bit serious. So your dance floor, you look out there and there's a bunch of your mates kind of going off. Maybe they got their shirt off, you know, they're just being silly. But here's the thing, if you want to find a way to get the girls dancing too, but you also don't want to stray too far from your sound, well, in Beatsource, you could access the top 100 dance tracks, and that dance chart is going to be a lot more commercial than the Beatport dance charts, but it's going to give you some commercial options that you could weave into your sets. It's probably not going to stray too far from tech house. It's just the more commercial side of it. See, put it this way, right? I DJ'd every single week for almost 17 years, and at one point, EDM was really huge in the club scene, and I imagine just like tech house now, it's probably considered one of the more commercial club genres. But when playing the EDM bangers off Beatport, sometimes it felt too serious for the people there. And so what I used to do was, in my research, I used to go and look at the iTunes dance chart and see the main tracks that people were listening to, and I would typically find a balance between the bangers and mash. No, I'm just joking, but the bangers and also the more commercial stuff, and I'd flow between the styles and create atmospheres that people would actually respond really well to and rave about, and they'd come back again and again and again. The events were quite successful. So to be able to access the top 100 popular dance anthems is a game changer, especially if you're playing more commercial events or events where there's going to be students, like having that access. So it's like a balance of Beatport and Beatsource in that case. But let's say you need the tracks for your USB, but you're finding a lot of tracks on Beatsource that you love and you want to own. Well, because Beatsource is also run by the guys at DJ City, one of the biggest DJ pools in the world, the chances are if it's on Beatsource, you can also download it as part of your DJ City subscription. So yes, another subscription. So I guess this opens up the real question. Why get Beatsource and pay $15 a month or $30 a month if you also want the offline locker where you get 1,000 songs just like Beatport Link, when you can just pay $30 a month for access to the DJ City record pool and get unlimited downloads, and then when you download, they're yours for life. Now, no doubt both streaming services and DJ pools have their advantages. Now with DJ pools, once downloaded the tracks, they are yours to keep for life, and it's hard to go past that. But where the streaming services really pull ahead is you can search and play tracks as you find them. It's kind of like try before you buy, and the curated playlists and the ideas and suggestions in the actual streaming sites, they're superior. It's amazing. Now, in ways you could say paying for a streaming service is the equivalent of paying a research assistant $15 a month to do all the work for you. And that can really come in handy when you need to play genres that you may not otherwise be familiar with. It really gives you a lot of ideas. So for instance, let's say I'm booked to play a Latin event, or I turn up to an event and I'm getting lots of requests for Latin music, and perhaps I've never actually played Latin before in my life. Then if I was using a laptop or gear that had Wi-Fi capabilities, I could just search Latin tracks within my software or on the gear that has the Wi-Fi capabilities and get access to curated playlists and maybe even charts of the biggest Latin tracks right now, which means as long as I have an internet connection, I pretty much have infinite options. And that would have saved me many a times when you turn up, the client gives you the wrong kind of brief, and all of a sudden, they want something, you don't have that music, you haven't prepared for it. Well, with an internet connection and a streaming service subscription, you're going to be able to dodge those bullets. No doubt, if you're playing house parties, private parties, and functions, Beatsource is pretty irresistible, but don't take my word for it. Go to their website. The link's in the description under this video. Just take a look around, see if it resonates with you. If you're used to Apple Music and Spotify and you like the music on those platforms and how those platforms operate, Tidal may be the best choice for you. Now, Tidal's considered pretty mainstream, but one huge advantage of Tidal is it's going to curate playlists specifically for you based on your search history. So that can help you to find cool tracks, and it'll organize them for you. Kind of how Spotify does those day mixes, where it includes, tracks that you like, tracks that you've listened to in the past, plus similar tracks that it adds in there, and it really kind of opens up ideas. But unfortunately, Tidal does not have an offline locker, so you will always need an internet connection to access and play the music. But in saying that, if you are used to Spotify or Apple Music, Tidal is the streaming equivalent for DJs. The advantages of streaming are, number one, you literally have access to millions of tracks, so you can try before you buy. Two, not many DJ pools mirror Beatport, yet Beatport Link is Beatport, so you can stream the whole Beatport library for about $15 US a month. Number three, if you double your subscription price, you can store offline 1,000 tracks. That's for Beatport Link and Beatsource. Number four, industry pros have curated playlists that will work for any occasion. 5, loads of ideas on what tracks you can play. 6, can easily take requests. 7, have immediate access to brand new music. The disadvantages of streaming are, number one, you need an internet connection to play back the tracks. And if you're worried about the internet, and let's say you're DJing from your laptop a lot, then you probably should double your subscription fee and get the offline locker option, which could be expensive. Now, number two, you are hiring the tracks. And once you stop paying your monthly subscription, you're not gonna have access to the tracks anymore. Number three, because you don't own the tracks that you may have accessed in curated playlists or charts could be moved around or removed entirely. Number four, you can't export the tracks onto USB for playback on club gear, which means if you want to play on USB compatible Pioneer gear, you're gonna also need to be building your physical music library. If I was you, I would get a free 30-day trial to Beatport link and Beatsource and just take a look around. I'd start by finding tracks that you like and start adding them to your own playlists, all taught in the software videos to come. And perhaps even make another playlist called Tracks I Want to Buy and drag the tracks you really love and resonate with into that folder. Now, whether you download or stream the tracks, you only need 20 tracks to start with. So go pick a genre that you like. Download or stream 20 tracks and then build on those 20 tracks. And as you find new music that you resonate with, in time, that 20 becomes 100, then 200. And even if you are paying for each track, for instance, from a DJ pool or per track from Beatport or Bandcamp, the tracks are then yours for life. And if you choose to stream your music, it can be considered for a way for you to try and test music that you may later on decide to buy. So there's no right or wrong, only do what feels good for you. But just know, if you want to be a club DJ, every club DJ has a collection of music that is their own. And even if you stream, you still want to be building your own collection on the side, even if that collection is purely the best of the best. Exciting times, so many options. It's a good time to be a DJ. It really are. We're spoiled by choice. So follow the path of least resistance for you, whatever's going to make it easiest for you to get started and build momentum.